Stay tuned as we check out this Marvel Legends Heimdall from Avengers Infinity War. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And today we continue our Avengers Endgame Wave 3 set of reviews, aka the Thor Build-A-Figure Wave. And today we are looking at a figure that we have wanted for a while. Maybe not in this outfit, but still happy to have him rather than not. And it is, of course, the all-seeing Heimdall, the protector of the Rainbow Bridge that doesn't really exist anymore. But still, here we have him with his sword, very much the look from the Thor Ragnarok film, and also when he met his demise, unfortunately, at the start of Infinity War. So yes, Idris Elba all day long, UK repping, and that face sculpt looks very impressive. Yes, would have probably preferred Heimdall in the gold armor, maybe, but now I've got this one in hand, I actually really like it, so looking forward to getting this one opening, and always love adding new characters to the display. And again, this is the first time we're getting an MCU Heimdall, so yeah, very happy. He comes, as I said, with his sword, and then the pajama bottom leg of the Thor Build-A-Figure. On the side, we're getting Idris, aka Heimdall, looking all evil, wielding his sword. I think that's from Ragnarok, to be fair. And then, of course, as always, you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to complete the Thor Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Heimdall. So as I said, always happy to add brand new characters to the MCU display, and very excited about this one. So let's get him open. Here we have Heimdall out the box, and as expected, he does not disappoint. He looks very, very nice. Just standing like that with his giant sword, he looks pretty good. He also comes with the Build-A-Figure piece for Bro Thor, Lebowski Thor. Obviously, it's just his pajama bottom leg, but I will review Thor and build him when I've reviewed all the figures in this wave, so you know what to do. Go and hit that subscribe button, and then stick around until I've reviewed all the other figures. But yeah, it's just a leg. Taking a look at Heimdall though, he is looking very, very nice. Now, he's got his cape on, and his cape's quite a solid piece, so you're not going to be able to get him to do much articulating or anything while he's doing that. But as I said, you can get him just standing with his sword, and he will look good on your display just like that. But I want to take the cape off, but I like the detail. I like how you've got the hood that's been folded down, which is actually sculpted into the cape. Maybe people out there can do some soft goods and maybe get a cape looking like that, but I actually prefer the plasticness because soft capes just always look a bit oversized on these small figures. But that looks good. But let's get the sword out the hand first and foremost. Let's take the head off and take the cape off, and then we get Heimdall's body. So that is what I wanted to see. And we do have the full figure under there, and we even have battle damage, which I really, really like. So, without the cape attached, imagine Heimdall on the floor. Then what does it remind you of? Infinity War, where he gets stabbed through the chest. Unfortunately, spoiler alerts if you've never seen Infinity War for this review. But yes, this is how he looks in Infinity War on the floor before he uses what's left of his black magic to send Hulk crashing to Earth, where he lands in the Sanctum Sanctorum and sees Doctor Strange and Wong. So yes, without Heimdall, Thor would have never have given the warning of Thanos to Earth, and who knows what would have happened. So yeah, gutted he died, but glad he existed. Let's just be happy he did. So is this what I think of when I think of Heimdall? No, I think of him in his gold armor protecting the Rainbow Bridge. And that is the figure we all wanted when we wanted a Heimdall figure. But I'm not angry about this one. I'm glad we have a new character to add to the MCU shelf, and I'd take it in this uniform rather than none at all. So yeah, I'm happy. So let me zoom in and show you this figure in detail, because it's even got battle damage, which is crazy. And yeah. So firstly, I want to show you that face sculpt, as it is Idris Elba all day long. Just like the Tessa Thompson Valkyrie, Hasbro have done such a good job at capturing the likeness of the actor using that digital face printing technology And yeah, this looks really good. Definitely see Idris Elba in there. And I really like how we get to see the gold eyes of Heimdall. He is all-seeing after all. And those eyes are definitely that yellowish, goldish tint, which I really like. The beard is sculpted. He's got those hair plaits, dreadlocks in his hair. When people first seen this version of Heimdall in the Thor Ragnarok trailer, people thought it was Bishop from the X-Men, but he does have similar hairstyle, so I can understand why people thought that. Now, what I wanted to show you is that he's wearing just some robes or whatever, but look at that. It's got battle damage, and even there on the side of his waist. So this is obviously from the start of Infinity War, after the Black Order invaded the ship that they escape on. He's got this belt piece, which is like a harness, and it doesn't look like it disattaches. Oh, no, I don't know. I can't see anywhere where it detaches. There's nothing where it comes apart from. So I'm assuming if you heat this up, if you didn't want him to wear it, you could take it off, but it doesn't deattach. There's no button or clipper anywhere on it. Moving down to the legs, I like the shaded paint effect on the legs. They get a little bit dirtier towards the bottom, and some decent sort of dry brushing on the boots. And yeah, overall looking really good. He's got like the wraps on the wrists. Both hands, he can grab his sword. So let's bring in the sword. This is the same sword we've seen before, but in a different paint job. I will compare it when I get that other sword out. But it is Heimdall's massive sword that he uses to control the Rainbow Bridge. And it's a massive handle, but you can sneak it in the hands. Sorry if I'm doing it out of frame. I can't see what I'm showing you. But there you go. He will hold it. So if I zoom out, you can see that it's a massive sword. And hopefully the articulation allows you to use both hands to grab it. So there you go. So I had to do a bit of behind the camera magic, but I did get both of his hands holding onto that giant sword, so you can get him posed fighting. I think he does use it to fight off Hela and the Executioner in Ragnarok, but without seeing that off the top of my head, I can't remember. But either way, this is definitely Heimdall's sword, and it's looking good. So yeah, again, that face sculpt was really impressive. Surprised with the battle damage, and it's only on the arm and the waist from what I can see, but it's still a nice little touch of detail. And when he's got his cape on, you can't really see it anyway. There you go. We can even hold the sword with two hands, even with the plastic cape on. And again, I'm not going to go over articulation, but obviously it's definitely hindered when you have the plastic cape on. And I don't know if I showed you the detail too much, but there is sculpted detail all on this cape. Again, I've mentioned the sculpted hood, which I quite like. Looks like it's just folded over. And then you get red sort of lines across and a little bit of silver on the buckle there. But yeah, it does look nice on the figure with or without the cape. He can hold his sword. Yeah, very happy with this figure. So let's go into some comparisons. Let's bring in Thor, and this is probably the best version of Thor in regards to how he looked at the start of Infinity War when Thanos first invaded the Asgardian ships, and unfortunately where Heimdall met his demise as well against the mad Titan Thanos, with his own sword. I think he stabbed him with, I can't quite remember, but yeah, that scale is really good. I think as Heimdall and Thor should be quite similar, but Thor is a god after all, so he's a little bit taller, and then obviously Thanos towers above them both. I do have the rest of the Black Order, but they're all nicely on display, so I'm not getting them out. But here we do have Loki. He is also on the ship at the start of Infinity War, looking good. And the sword that Heimdall is holding is obviously we've had before in Marvel Legends form, and it is this one. So you can see they are different colours, same sculpt, but different colours. So the handle on this one's brown. It's more of a gunmetal grey for the actual sword itself, and then even the gold's a different tone. So if you wanted your Heimdall to hold this version of the sword because you prefer the colour scheme, you could definitely do that, as they're exactly the same. And here we have Heimdall compared to some other Asgardian women with Valkyrie, who I've just reviewed, so check out the channel for a full review of her, and of course Lady Sif as well. And again, he should be taller than them all, so I think this scales really nicely. And then for one last comparison, here we have Heimdall compared to the SH Figure Arts Infinity War Hulk. And this is how he appeared at the start of the film on that battled Asgardian ship. So if you did want to recreate a diorama or something of that Asgardian ship when the Black Order sort of attack it with Thanos, then you have all the characters to do that now. I might actually steal that idea. So final thoughts, I obviously like this Heimdall figure. I knew I would when it was first announced, as it's a brand new character to add to the MCU shelf. And he's a character that's been around since 2011, so it's a figure we've needed. Is it the version of Heimdall we really wanted? I would have personally liked to see what a figure would have looked like in his gold armor when he's protecting the Rainbow Bridge, but I'm glad we have a version of him rather than none at all. And again, it's a sort of a 2-in-1 if you think about it, because this version of Heimdall with the cape is how he is represented in Thor Ragnarok when he's protecting the Asgardians. And if you take the cape off and you see the battle damage, then it's sort of how he's briefly represented in Infinity War as well. So at least Hasbro were thinking about it when they made the figure, but I'm very happy with it. Could be one of my favorites from the wave. So you let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you have rather have seen Heimdall in his gold armor, or are you happy that we have him in this form? Always curious to hear your thoughts. Everyone has their own opinions, and it's nice to have a little read. So let me know in the comments below, but most importantly, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 10K. I'm so very close. And as always, my name is Dan W, and I shall see you on the next one.